Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today for this exciting 50th anniversary event as we unveil the contents of the time capsule. A big shout out to facilities for cracking open the time capsule, and we truly appreciate your hard work. We have an all-star co-host lineup for you today with Student Body President Leah Scott, Math faculty member Paul Kurose, Early Childhood Education faculty members Noris Daniel and Ninder Gill, and our Vice President of Instruction, Pete Lortz. As you all know, North is celebrating an important milestone this year, 50 years of changing lives through education. We opened our doors to the public in fall of 1970, and in that time, we have made a lasting impact on our students, employees, and their families. Just to give you all an idea of what was going on during that time, here are some facts about 1970. The Apollo 13 space mission was launched. The Beatles disbanded. The world's first jumbo jet, a Boeing 747, made its first commercial flight from New York to London. The price of a movie ticket was $1.55. The voting age was lowered from 21 to 18. And an influential song from that time was Ball of Confusion by the Temptations. And in the spirit of our Pacific Tree Frog family, a famous quote from that time, "It's not easy being green," by none other than Kermit the Frog. I'm honored to be part of this continuing legacy of serving our community and look forward to uncovering what our former North family buried for us all those years ago. So with that, I'll pass it over to our own DeAndre Fisher.
Thank you, beloved President Dr. Crawford. So happy to be here with the beloved North community. Good to see everyone. I'll read the land acknowledgement, and it reads as follows. On behalf of North Seattle College, we acknowledge that we occupy the traditional ancestral lands of the Cochalish people, the Wamish, Muckleshoot, Tulalip, Sequalish, all continue to honor in their traditions, their heritage, and their customs. We ask that you take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land, air, and water who are still here. We urge you also as individuals and as the institution to take up our own responsibility to the people of this land who were forced and unpaid labor to as well to construct the land that we're on today. What legacy will we leave as we celebrate and honor the work that has been done before us and improving and creating true racial equity and a sense of belongingness where all are welcome at North Seattle College and our beloved community? That is all cultures, all ages, all religious beliefs, all race, ethnicities, all sizes, all gender identities, all abilities, all qualities, all people, all sexual affiliations, all social economic classes, all veteran statuses, all political beliefs, all citizen statuses, and all foreign nations. Without them, we could not do the work that we have done thus far. Thank you, and I'll now hand it over to our beloved Ninder Gill.
Thank you, DeAndre. I really appreciate the intentional call to action. And this moment right now reminds me of a time that I wasn't born in the 70s, but my parents were part of the wave of immigration in the 70s. And at that time, I don't think my mom or my dad, my aunts and uncles who were all part of that immigration wave would consider themselves college students. Not because, well, not just because they couldn't speak the language or they couldn't afford school. I think part of it was they didn't feel like they were a part of this college community. And now looking at North and what we're doing now with the EDI initiative and something that our program's doing with the language immersion cohorts, I can see my mom being a part of this community and feeling like she belongs. And that's powerful. And that makes me proud to be a part of this North community. Paul, do you have stuff to share?
Thank you, Ninder. I actually have firsthand memories of 1970. And what I remember of 1970 is that North Seattle was still very segregated. It was all white. The ship canal around the U district was the red line where most people of color weren't allowed to live north of that ship canal. And so in 1970, I was in 8th grade, and I, along with a busload of other kids of color, rode the bus every morning out to North Seattle in the effort to desegregate North End schools. And when we got off that bus, if we didn't know it on our own, they let us know that we really didn't belong. Leah, what are your thoughts as we reflect on the North's 50th anniversary and our mission of changing lives through education?
Thanks, Paul. Like Ninder, I also wasn't alive in 1970, but one thing that I realized in my time as student body president at North is that our community is committed to the success of our students. From the countless resources that are made available to the inclusive culture that lives within this college, on this 50th anniversary, I can confidently say that North is indeed changing lives. North has been giving our community members not only the necessary life skills, but the loving space to be their most authentic selves. Education isn't just about cramming in information, test scores, and grades. Rather, it is about providing a space to actively learn and grow. And North understands this well. Noris, do you have anything to share?
I sure do. Thank you. What do I remember about being in the 70s? I was 12 years old, and one thing that always sticks out in my mind, it was about the Vietnam War and how every evening it was on television that you had to see about this war and the protest against the war. I also remember about the civil rights movement going on. And one of the things that I really remember was about Black pride and the naturals, and we would say things, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. So yes, I have lots of memories of the 70s. What about you, Pete?
So I was 2 in 1970, so I don't have too many memories of 1970, but when I think about memories of North and the bright-eyed wannabe biology teacher who showed up in 1994, my mind goes to the students and the friends and the mentors that I made. And very specifically, I remember wearing chest waders with students as we hunted down frogs and bugs in the wetland. And then I also remember years of intramural pickup basketball games with Roy Flores and Mark Mitsui as the captains of our basketball team. I'm also really happy to be here today with everybody on stage and all of you in the audience as we unveil the contents of the time capsule that was buried years ago by the North family. As Leah mentioned, North has a broad and rich history that encompasses advancement, inclusivity, and changing lives. So 50 years ago, when the first president, Cecil Baxter, laid cement on the sign out front that's still here today, burying this time capsule, I'm sure they thought then about what we think now as we get ready to open the time capsule. Noris, you're up.
Hey, thank you. Before we do the reveal, what does everyone think is inside the capsule? Please type your answers in the chat.
There's a chocolate bar.
A chocolate bar will be very old.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think is in there?
I think we're going to see a lot of names of people that we still recognize, either present or past.
You're cheating, Pete.
No? Well, what do you think's in there?
An 8-track tape.
Ooh,
Oh,
very nice.
right on. I was thinking it was gonna be, we should be a poster, the one that always said, make love, not war.
What song's on that tape, Paul?
Oh, wow. There's so many great songs from 1970. I'm glad the audience had a chance to hear a few. All the confusion, the temptations,
Ooh, Jackson 5.
Jackson 5, ABC.
Yeah.
Right over double water floor.
Okay, Sonia, what do you think is in there? Or no, what are people saying in the chat?
A hula hoop,
Oh, yeah.
a pet rock,
Oh,
Yes,
a newspaper, telegram, some photos, course catalog, something with Nixon on it, or a tiny Nixon button, a newsletter, class schedule, lots of guesses.
all right. Well, Paul, you're up.
Thank you, Noris. We know that you are all here to find out what they buried inside the time capsule years ago. But before we do that, another question for the audience. What offerings were in place when North first opened its doors? Please type your answers in the chat. What do you guys think?
nah.
Cooking.
Maybe something to do with ecology?
That would be good.
Yeah,
Biology.
Yes.
of course.
Is cooking home economics?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, home ec.
I wonder what electronics program would have looked like in 1970.
I was thinking community colleges had a lot of vocational programs.
Yeah.
How about a sewing class? Math and English, culinary, basketball, carpentry, typewriter repair,
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
yoga, English and ESL.
Ninder, do you happen to know what North offered in 1970?
I do know, not because I went to school during that time I was born. I read an article from the Seattle Times about what was in there, or what North was offering. The college had to offer a balanced curriculum where half the classes or courses needed to be focused on liberal studies and the other on technical and applied studies. Also, there needed to be a focus on adult education and community service programs. And some of those were a science lab, ding ding, with gas and cold water. There also was a 24-hour work benches for those learning the watchmaking trade. I think we still have that program.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
And 48 courses in the electronics field, so we're still going strong there. And my personal favorite was an early childhood education laboratory where students could train to be preschool teachers. And our very own Miss Noris Daniel worked there too. Okay, so now I have the great privilege to introduce you to our 2021 student president, Leah Scott.
Thanks, Ninder. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you all today as we take a look at what our predecessors left for us. Okay, wow, where do we start? You know what, can I get a drum roll? First, we have a Seattle Community College long range plan. Oh, okay. And next, it looks like we have a president's annual report from 1967 to 1968. And next, it looks like we have a couple of class schedules and maybe even some course catalogs. Lots of good stuff here. And we have a Western Union telegram dated November 8th, 1968 from Washington State Governor Dan Evans. Noris, would you do us the honor of reading this telegram?
Okay, I will. Happy to. Today's groundbreaking ceremony marks a milestone for Seattle Community College, for it represents the high-quality educational system which the state will continue to provide in the future. I regret that I am unable to be present for today's groundbreaking. However, my thoughts will be with you at the ceremony. Sincerely, Daniel J. Evans, Governor. Dan Evans may not have been in attendance for the groundbreaking ceremony. However, he did get the chance to sit down for an interview with former North President Warren Brown, which will be shared with campus at a later date. So keep an eye out for that. What else do we have here? Paul, what's the next item?
It's a North directory. I had a chance to take a look at it earlier and saw some familiar names there. Ben Abed, one of my neighbors, good friend, anthropology instructor. Mr. Bob Atkins, sociology instructor. Fred Radke, music instructor. Marilyn Smith, former English instructor. And I have to add a former math instructor, Andrew Walker. Thinking back to this time before we lived in a digital world, this directory would be a pretty important thing to hang on to in order to get a hold of people. How did people find out what was going on back then before the internet? Perhaps they picked up one of these newspapers. Pete, would you like to tell the folks about what you see there?
Absolutely, Paul. It seems as though they hadn't yet determined the name, as this school newspaper from October 9th, 1970 was unnamed with 4 question marks right after the NSC. In volume 1, number 1, the headlines included the registration rush, the birth of a newspaper, be a litter quitter, don't get caught by the draft, and NSCC breaks library tradition. There's also a photo of Dr. Cecil Baxter, the first president of North Seattle Community College, in the bookstore, as he was the very first customer. What other treasures did we uncover? It looks like there's a letter from Thomas A. Edison to the superintendent of Seattle Public Schools dated May 19th, 1930. Ninder, would you do the honors?
Oh, yes, I can. Thanks, Pete. And I do want to remind everyone, this is the Thomas A. Edison. They wrote, I have your favor of May 10th advising that your Board of Education has named your new vocational school the Thomas A. Edison Vocational School. I am indeed very much gratified and pleased and wish to express to the board my high appreciation and very sincere thanks for the honor which they have in this way conferred upon me. I trust that the knowledge and skills imparted in this school will be of great benefit to the young people who receive instruction within its walls. Sincerely yours, the Thomas A. Edison. Leah, could you read the letter from North's first president, Cecil Baxter Jr.?
I would love to, and here's a look at that. In this letter, Cecil Baxter Jr. outlines the direct relationship between the Thomas A. Edison School and North Seattle Community College. On July 1st, 1967, when the Seattle Community College District was formed, all of Edison Technical School was incorporated as a part of the comprehensive community college. Later, when North Seattle Community College was opened in September of 1970, several vocational programs were formerly a part of the Thomas A. Edison Vocational School. Electric trades, electronics, drafting were transferred to North Seattle Community College. To those who read this document at some unspecified time in the future, the writer sincerely hopes that the close relationship between the former Thomas A. Edison Vocational School and North Seattle Community College is recognized. Sincerely, Cecil Baxter Jr. These letters and other items that were uncovered will be available in a time capsule exhibit on campus, so more to come on that. And now we would like to turn it over to you all. What do you think should be included in the next time capsule? Please type your answers in the chat.
Chocolate bar. Maybe it'll last this time.
A little bit of a little memento tree fall for sure, and maybe a mask.
Oh, for sure, Matt.
A smartphone, a Chromebook, hand sanitizer, a mask, another mask, a frog, the Zoom logo, iPhone with a cracked screen, CGC link manual, less paper things. I think we can be more creative. Coins, a picture of a Tesla, just to troll Edison. Dogecoin.
Leah, what music would you put in there?
Ooh, that is a good question. Probably some of the top artists that we have right now.
There you go.
All right, I think I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Crawford.
Thank you, Leah. As we look ahead to the next 50 years, we shine a light on the future and how North will continue to be vital to our community's economic and social success while helping individuals move into successful, livable wage careers. So before we wrap up, we would like to discuss the 2070 time capsule and what should be included in it. Please share your ideas by filling out the time capsule form, and there is a link in the chat. We invite you, your team, or department to submit an item that represents this moment in time and our college community while being mindful of our equity and accessibility mindset. Remember that submissions are due by June 24th. So we look forward to seeing your ideas, and we thank you for all of your hard work and for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it.